guys, or if you just came from part 1 of this video, hi again. So let's just cut right to the chase and talk about what to do when you're actually applying for a job. Now there's tons and tons of different websites and articles and videos out there that can tell you what little things you can do to help you find a job. It's like Snag a Job, Monster, Indeed, Idealist, just different job boards that can do more than just show you jobs, but also help you with the process of finding a job. Find different articles with experts telling you everything you need to know about how to write a resume, how to write a cover letter, what type of email to send. Tons of things that I don't need to repeat because it's all out there and they can do a better job than I can in doing that. There are 2 things that I will repeat because I think they deserve being repeated. Take your time writing anything. Whether it's an email, a resume, a cover letter, just take your time filling it out. You never notice that one time you hit the space bar too many times, or that extra A you added in a word, or like me, I accidentally tried to spell career and spelled out carrier and sent that off to an employer. So just take your time when you're doing those things. The other thing that I'll repeat is sell yourself at an interview. You are a pimp, and your prostitute is your personality and experience. The employer needs to turn into your client, and you need to leave them so satisfied. They want you back so much that they will pay you for it. Now, after you filled out your application, sent out your resume, sent out your cover letters, maybe even gotten a couple interviews, the next tip I can say is just to have stamina. That's where I did not intend on having so many sexual references in this video. The job search may take longer than you originally planned. You gotta be prepared to fill out what feels like 100 applications a week to not get a response to any of them. Even if the job is perfect for you, you just can't dwell on these applications. Most important thing to remember is that you're on their timetable, not the other way around. One time, it took an employer 2 months to contact me just for an interview. Even if you get an interview for your dream job and you knock it out of the park, you should still keep looking for other jobs. There's no way of knowing how long it's going to take for them to get back to you. Suppose you interview for this job you think you nail and then stop looking for work. They get back to you 2 weeks later and say, oh, no thank you. That's 2 weeks you could have still been looking for another job. Now you're 2 weeks behind. Now there are people that apply for the first job and get it, or only fall into a career that they never meant to. Sure, that kind of stuff happens, but do not go into your job search thinking you're going to be the exception. You gotta go into it thinking worst case scenario. 2 tips I learned to improving your job search stamina. 1 was finding a hobby, just to keep your mind off the depression of finding a new job. The other was getting a part-time job. Just something that will bring in a little cash so you can afford to put gas in your car or use public transportation to get to your real interviews. The next tip I'd give is not to box yourself in. The job market is already competitive enough without you limiting yourself. There may be a certain city you want to live in or a company you want to work for, but if there are no jobs there, you can't sit around and wait for them to become available. You may want to be a history teacher in the suburbs of New York, but may have to start off in the inner city. Remember, your first job is not your last job. Don't limit yourself just because it's not perfection. And the last thing I'd say is just not to lose yourself. Don't finally just get a job, settle for it, and then think that's it. If it's not where you want to be, remember where you want to be. Remember that time you walked across the stage, got your diploma, and thought you could take over the world. Because it's still a possibility. Look at the job you want to have in 10 years, and then look at the person who has it. Look at their resume, then copy that. If they have a master's degree, you should go get a master's degree. If they have a doctorate, you should go get a doctorate. There's a long work life ahead of us that we shouldn't cut short once we get our first job. And that's about it. That's all the tips I have. I hope they helped out a little bit and your experience is a little less painful than mine was. I guess I'll see you next time, and until then, go complain to Charlie McDonald that he hasn't released a new video yet.
It's not about the money. We don't need your money.
Because I think they just need to be hit a little harder. That's awful.